All right, we're
Live.
live now. I see the live. We are live. I was having a little technical difficulty, but I figured it out.
Perseverance.
Yes. So welcome to the LITE Firestarters podcast inaugural year 2022. I'm happy to be here. I'm so glad y'all could join us. I hope that I'm not freezing the way I am on my laptop screen. Um, but I want to welcome you all to what should be a welcoming space. I want y'all to meet my dear friend, my fellow Duke alumna, Miss Aisha Taylor. She's also an FN phenomenal mom. She she, as well as our other fellow Duke alumna, Shalina Diva, have carried me through some heavy things. And we've had many discussions about that, but it's forced us all to really think about our finances and how we budget and how it works. So I'm gonna give a little background on my financials and financial background, and then I'll let Aisha give hers. But I do want y'all to know I have receipts. I was formerly a Series 7 and 63 FINRA licensed agent, registered agent. I also formerly held a Wisconsin State auto and life insurance license. So I did take that testing. Um, and those are financial background registrations where they fingerprint you and everything. So it's very relevant to understand where we're coming from, not just Duke pedigree, but also from our licensure. I've let my licenses lapse, so that means I can talk about what I want to talk about. Now, you should go ahead and you share, your own background.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you for joining. So, my name is Aisha Taylor, and I help single moms to strategize and financially prepare for their next level. So, what that means is that if you have a business idea that is in your head and you're just wondering how to be able to bring it out into the world, I can help you. If you have if you're looking to restructure an existing business, I can help you. Or if you're looking to financially prepare for your next level, I can help you. And so, just as Tamika just shared her receipts, I'm going to share mine. Of course, went to Duke as well. I also have an MBA in finance. And so, when I was at Duke, I actually got an economics undergraduate degree, as well as a public policy degree and a minor in chemistry. I love school. And so then when I went to the University of Michigan, got my MBA in finance and also my master's of health services administration. Went on to work in corporate finance for a number of years where I did mergers and acquisitions, licensing deals. I managed a 1 billion with a B dollar purchasing budget. And I also did restructuring, was a part of a team to restructure a major government organization. I was also actually, I was the lead person in a $100 million restructuring deal. The particular department was losing about $100 million a year. And I actually was the one who created the strategic plan and built the team and developed the financial model to bring that $100 million loss to a $30 million profit. So that is my work background, as well as having experience with restructuring women-owned businesses as well, looking at the businesses and identifying areas of opportunity according to their financials, and then coming up with the strategic plan based upon the financial health of the client and where that business is currently. And so that's what I did. I did that with women-owned childcare centers. And it just really was helpful because I got to work with these women on their personal finances as well as their business finances, because so many of these people were showing up to work every day, serving so many families, but literally had nothing to show for it themselves. So that's some of the things that I love to do. I also passed the CFP licensing exam as
Kudos to
well.
you. That is a tough exam, y'all.
It's a hard exam. It's a hard exam. And then I actually used to have my insurance license. It was funny because, all right, I'm going to say this because I feel the Holy Spirit leading me here. When you are building a dream, when you have a vision, you have to share your vision with people who the Lord tells you to. And you have to also be cognizant of who you take advice from, because sometimes people can suggest to you things that you should do, services that you should add to your business that might not be in your heart, but they're looking at you and your skills and saying, well, I think that you'll be good here. And so because I think that you should be good here, I think that you should add this service to your business. But really, it's like, not really for you. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's how I ended up getting licensed for insurance. Somebody said, oh, wow, you work with personal finances. You're doing all of this financial work. So why don't you add the insurance license? So then that way you can sell your existing clients insurance. Or if you come across someone who you meet, you can also add this extra revenue stream to your business by selling insurance. But I was never one who actually wanted to sell insurance. The vision that I had was to be able to talk to people about their need for insurance, because absolutely people need business insurance. People need people need health insurance. Like, people need disability insurance. People need with life insurance. And so I was licensed to sell life insurance. And so I only did it because someone else thought that that was a good idea for my business, but it was never really a passion. So I literally spent my time studying for, taking the classes, sitting for the licensing exam, and it was something that I never ever used because I wasn't passionate about it. I was passionate about business finances. I was passionate about strategic planning. I was passionate about personal finances. But I allowed other people who God had not sent to speak into me in that capacity to convince me to get a insurance license, right? On the surface, it absolutely made sense. On the surface, it sounded like a great opportunity for me to add an additional revenue stream, but it was not what God sent for me. And it's so interesting that when it was time for when my insurance license was coming up for renewal, I actually decided not to renew it because I said, this isn't for me. And it was actually a very hard decision because it made a lot of sense on the surface, but I had to go into the core of who I am and what I'm called to do and realize that that wasn't my mission. And
Yeah.
instead of like trying to hold on to it because I spent that time getting it, I actually let it lapse and then spoke to someone else and said, you know what, I'm still really passionate about people, especially single moms. Like, single moms, you need life insurance, you need your guardianship papers together, you need all of that. You need your estate planning documents, you need all of it. But for me, it made more sense to be able to refer people to someone who I trusted, who that
Mm.
was their passion, and that way I can stay in my lane with my passions.
Oh, I appreciate that so much. And that makes absolute sense. So for me, I have to admit, I I was just hustling. I'm more spiritual than religious, but I am religious as well. And so what I found myself doing is searching. And that's why I love following Shalina. I love following Aisha. And we talk about how much we love these different motivational speakers, these different coaches. And I found that I felt like I was just chasing my tail, trying to pay bills, primarily like legal bills, and I got my insurance license when I was in Wisconsin, and I was working in long-term care as the admissions and marketing manager for a major provider. And I met someone who was like, I think you'd be good at this. And I was like, you think so? And I tried it. And I had tried to get my license in Illinois before, but life just kept getting in the way. I let my family, to Aisha's point, I let my family and the things going on with them tug at me and pull me away from what I want to do and what I'm passionate about. And ultimately, like leaving investment banking, that was when my first wedding engagement, marital engagement, blew up in my face. My therapist at the time said, it was, Tamika, that was like your perfect storm. And it was just like my parents kept fighting, and every time they'd start fighting, I tried to help them, but then my relationship would start falling apart, but theirs would get stronger. And I'd just be like, I don't want to deal with none of y'all. Try to run away and hide. And they'd be like, come back home. And I'm like, for what? To watch y'all fight? And it just turned into this constant cycle of like me being a fixer. And I was like, when I moved to Milwaukee, I said, I don't want to deal with it anymore. I'm going to focus on me and my child. And unfortunately, my daughter's father said he was on board. But then 5 months into 6 months of trying to establish residency, he hit me with legal paperwork. So then I'm in a scramble in a new job, and I'm faced with all these decisions and bills and like a variable cost that I have little to no control over, it felt like. Mm-hmm. So for me, I had to get a lot better at honing on what's best for Tamika. Mm-hmm. And what will help me and my family, and what will make me happy. And then as I was hoping to come to a close with some of the litigation, I still knew I was going to end up with bills at the end of a petition for a change to our parenting plan, whatever. Illinois has weird, not what people think of as far as terminology. And so in my head, I was like, who knows how this is going to play out? What if he appeals, which he did, and he did not win. I won that. But I knew I constantly had variable legal costs, okay? So it was like, what can I do? I can keep corporate so I can demonstrate stability, okay? When we talk finances, you must be able to demonstrate stability, especially as a parent, especially as a homeowner, especially as someone applying for a loan. So then it was like, all right, I need an additional source of income. What do I care about? What do I like doing? I was like, I like writing. I'm pretty good at it. So I took this class about blogging. And I am an affiliate. So if you email me at Tamika@loveinspireteache.com, you'll see in my signature the links. I'm an affiliate for Shalina. I'm affiliated with Aisha as well. So I need to add her link. But I'm going to let her talk about what she's doing. So y'all don't even need that. You got the direct source. In Chicago, we call the plug. You've got the plug. So for me, I had to hone in on what am I about? What do I like? And to her point about someone saying, do this, that, and the third, they tried to tell me my focus was women. I was like, I have 4 brothers. My focus is not entirely on women. I have a son. I have a Black son. And the world is going nuts. And I'm concerned as a mother. How am I going to take care of this Black boy who will become a man that people will make assumptions about? How can I protect him? How can I afford to protect him? So here comes Love Inspire Teach E. Here comes reaching out to my network. Here comes, hey, Aisha, you've got something coming up. I'm not sure timing wise, blah, blah, blah. But why don't you come on the podcast? Tell people about it, because we are smart women. We have a lot to share with the world. So tell them, go ahead and tell them, this is the platform. Go ahead, tell them about the budget boot camp. I'm trying to do end of this month, I believe. It's coming up soon, right?
It's actually May 28th. Yep.
Okay, yeah. So I can do that.
So I have one doing.
Tell me about something else that I was like, I can't do that. I was like, what?
Yeah. And it was so funny because you were actually one of the reasons it was so funny because when I created the budget boot camp, so I at first did it on Thursday, but there was just like something in my spirit was just like, I need to offer this twice, and once being on a Saturday, because normally I use Saturdays to be with my kids. And it just seems like there's like always something going on a Saturday. Yeah. And so I try not to like do things on Saturday just for my own personal sanity. But I could literally hear like the Lord saying like, there's going to be people who want to come to your boot camp who can't do it on Thursday. Like, I get it that Thursday worked the best for you, May the 19th, it works the best for you. But there's going to be people who can only make it if it's on a Saturday. And so it was you and it was another woman who was just like, I like it, but like this day of the week really isn't working. I'm just like, okay, I hear you, Lord. I'm going to add in a Saturday, like, even though like that's not when I typically prefer to teach.
Thank you.
Because like when we do things, I think that when we have a purpose-based business, and what you do as well, Tamika, like, I think one of the hardest parts of being an entrepreneur is to realize that it's not about us. And sometimes we can hear like things like, well, you base your business around your own convenience. And that is true to a certain extent to be able to maintain boundaries and not burn out, right?
Mhm.
But but I think that before all, I always have to listen to the Holy Spirit and how He guides me. And sometimes the things that He leads me to do are not convenient. Like when I did the Single Mom Summit, which by the way, Tamika's affiliate is an affiliate of
I
it.
sponsored some people
Yeah,
somehow,
she
some
sponsored some
way.
people with the replay, which was a huge blessing to those women because they couldn't afford the replay, and you sponsored it and allowed those people, those two women, to be able to get it. But the Lord told me, He said, suspend everything that you're doing in the month of March and interview all these people, which ended up becoming the summit. And I was just like, Lord, I'm a single mom. Like, I have two kids, I pay for private school. Like your math ain't math, and like to have me just to spend everything like that I'm doing to record this summit. But then I realized as I started to listen to the testimonials that that wasn't about me, that wasn't about my convenience, that was not about my plan. It was about stories that needed to get out into the world for lives to be changed. So sometimes what we're doing is that if you are somebody who is a believer, that we have to be willing to suspend our own plans. We have to be willing to suspend our own strategies, right? And I'm a big strategy person. I'm a finance person, right? Like, so for me, it's very difficult to be able to suspend my great ideas, to be able to yield myself to the will of the Lord, because I know that He has something that's going to be great out of that, birthed out of that obedience. But it made no sense. But the thing is, once I got to the other end of it, I was just like, wow, there's something here. There are lives being changed. Matter of fact, I got an email today. I got an email today from someone saying how much that summit blessed them. And the summit was a month ago. And somebody was still talking to me about how much it blessed her. And
Yeah.
that to me made everything worthwhile. And the beautiful thing about it is that the Lord provided. Like, what I was worried about was going to happen or what I was going to miss in that month by suspending everything, like the way He just made things work in a way that made no sense. It
Mhm.
just showed me that when you walk in the ways of the Lord, it's okay. Sometimes it's scary, but we have to allow ourselves to walk in faith. And I think that that's a big part of entrepreneurship. And even when I'm working with single moms on turning their ideas into income and really launching their ideas, that's one of the things that we have to be able to stand firm on. Because when we're doing something that's bigger than us, is greater than us, or will eventually allow us to reclaim our time by exiting our jobs, like it's going to be scary at times. There's going to be times when the strategy doesn't make sense. There's going to be times where we can't walk according to our own convenience, but there's a greater purpose and plan for everything that He has called us to do.
Yeah. And so for me, I'm a Black Catholic, and I did this group coaching program, and they really had me hone in. They have me. I'm still currently in the program. They really have me honing in on 4 critical areas in my life. You have to hone in on your relationships, you have to hone in on your finances, you have to hone in on your health and wellness, and your spirituality. It doesn't have to be religion, but I've found that I have to take ownership of, I'm a practicing Black Catholic. And for
Mhm.
a long time, the church had a black eye because of the protection they gave to those priests. But that
Mhm.
does not mean I gave that protection to those.
Absolutely, that is not your responsibility.
So in my heart, there are times where I feel reluctant to say or give because I'm worried that people are judging where my Catholic heart lies in its intentions, right?
Mhm.
Oh, she's just trying to like you Aisha talks about this a lot. If you join her group, her private group, FNPhenomenal Moms, but it's not just for moms, she will
Mhm.
touch on a lot of amazing topics. I don't know if she still does it because I don't catch them as often, but she used to do like a daily prayer call. And I would just
Oh yeah, I remember when I did that.
I would just pop in and be like, yes, I needed this. Thank you. That was a good start to my day. Now I use the Calm app, and I try to practice meditation, but I have so many tools available to me that they enhance my ability to hone in and focus on how can I get my finances in order? How
Mhm.
can I maximize what me and my children can do? We got to go to the free days at the Chicago museums. We have to go to the library to pick up the passes, the museum passes that are available there. We have to have good attendance so we get the little coupon for attendance. So
Mhm.
these are the types of things that when
Or
Aisha,
summer reading program.
when Aisha holds her summit, we'll talk about the things. And these are things that I think I'm going to assume because I didn't ask her beforehand. But I think these are things that our parents did for us or that we grew up doing because my grandmother was a teacher in the Joliet public school systems for like 30 years. And she did work at a now closed or renamed parochial school in Chicago in the South Shore area. But watching my grandmother as a teacher always bargain, budget, be resourceful, really taught me a lot. And it taught my mom a lot too. Oh, this is Lisa Nichols group calling me when I'm having my podcast. That's hilarious to me. In any case, it's just weird. I'm like, I told y'all in never mind. um, but for us as parents, for us as human beings, for us as Black people, people of color, because I'm Black and Asian, we are all in this pandemic space. Because I said in the description we were going to talk about pandemic budgeting and
Mhm.
finances, and this pandemic has really changed how we approach things, how we think
Mhm.
about things. I used to work for a telecom company, and people cut the cord. So, pandemic budgeting. Can you touch on your thoughts, feelings, key points for us on that?
Yeah, it's so funny. I was actually just talking to someone earlier today about the pandemic and how there's different things that are happening like in the broader environment that are like
Mhm.
pivot points and shifts for us
Mhm.
where we just can't do anything the same. And so I was talking about inflation and gas prices. And so many people right now are reevaluating their budget because inflation, like if you look at it right now, if you paid $100 for something before, it's like almost like $109, $108.
Mhm.
And because of how much inflation is and how rapid it is. And so if you just extend that, like I think inflation is somewhere now between like 8 and 8.5%. It's insane. And so if you look at gas prices have doubled. And so I have been having conversations. At first, I was just wondering if it was just people like, who might have been living paycheck to paycheck or, who are on like a very fixed budget, right? Because I know for me, it was these gas prices were like hitting hard. I would just like, just the other day, it cost me more for a half tank than it
Mhm.
did for me when I used to fill up my tank. A half tank costs more than what I used to be able to fill up my whole tank for. And I was just like, this cannot just be hitting me. Like, I cannot be the only one feeling the pinch. I can't be the only one reevaluating what it is that I spend money on. And so that ended up becoming the motivation for me to start to create the budget boot camp because I knew that I could not have been alone. And so I would have conversations with other moms and they were feeling the pinch too in terms of inflation and gas prices across all income levels. I talked to upper middle class moms and they were reevaluating how they spent their money and what it was that they were doing. It was just on a different scale, but everybody was having the same conversations. Everybody was having the same conversations. And so as I thought about it, I'm like, this is a great time to bring back the budget boot camp
Mhm.
because for people who were budgeting before, that budget no longer works for them. If they made that budget in the last year and a half, that budget no longer works for them if they haven't updated it. And then the thing is, it's like, and did you actually create a budget or is it something that allows you to make progress on your goals and the things that matter to you? Because a budget should really be the guide for your household, but it should also encompass the things that you want to be able to do in life, right? So if
Mhm.
you want to be able to repay debt, that needs to be a part of your budget. If you want to be able to go on vacation, that needs to be a part of your budget. If you want to be able to make a splurge, that needs to go on your budget. If you want to have your kids in lots of different activities, that needs to be a part of your budget. So your budget should represent what you want your lifestyle to be, and the
But do
dollar
you
should be
think,
able to support that.
okay, I hear you, but do you think our audiences, I have a pretty diverse audience, and I'm sure you do too, but do you
Hmm.
think our audiences struggle with that or really find that to be difficult? Like, I feel for me, growing up with four brothers, having a mom who's Filipina and loves a bargain, I feel like some of it comes to me intuitively, and we're both econ
Hmm.
majors. And then I had a
Yeah.
markets and management certificate. So I don't know sometimes if it's just that for me, it's just natural and intuitive, and I take that for granted, or what it is that I like how other people manage their finances. I'm just like, do you, but don't go in debt, or not necessarily don't go in debt, because there's a good way to go in debt and a bad way to go in debt. And being over
Hmm.
leveraged, which I feel like I am right now starting this company, or I shouldn't say starting this company, but investing hardcore while I'm still on severance pay. um, I just feel like our audience maybe is very confident and comfortable in what they do, but how do we push them to reevaluate that?
I think that I think there's one piece of budgeting that a lot of people don't really talk about, because to me, I'm just like, you know what? If you're college educated, if you're Duke educated, you should be able to do, right, your
Right, but we
expenses and
think
your
that they're
income,
gonna
right?
forgive the debt, right? Is that what we're banking on?
No, you should not be banking on that at all. Everything that I see, I don't think you should be banking on that. But the thing is, I think that people underestimate the behavioral component of it. I think that people underestimate the trauma focus of it. I think that people underestimate the keeping up the Jones pieces of the conversation. And I think that that part is very, very, very serious. And so, one of the things that I've noticed as well is that how people are raised impacts how they manage their money. So, you're able to manage your money in a certain way because of the fact that you've had the upbringing that you've had. But I was actually working with a client before who his mom, he's a college educated guy, but his mom was someone who, whenever she got paid, she blew money. And that impacted his ability to be actually stable in his own household growing up. So when he became an adult, he repeated the same behaviors, and he was constantly faced with eviction notices. He was also faced with, light bill cutoff notices and all those other things that would result in a destabilized household, because that's what he grew up with, because he had no comprehension on what it means to actually budget because of what he saw growing up. And I remember talking to other college educated women who literally had a hard time even tracking their money. But when you added the emotional piece of it to it, being able
Retail
to find
therapy?
some,
I did that today. I'm sorry.
huh?
I said retail therapy. I did that today.
Yeah, the
I had to
retail
tell on
therapy.
myself.
Retail therapy. I was actually working with a woman who, um, she was actually going through a nasty divorce, and the way she handled that was she did retail therapy, but what happened is it destabilized her household, and she was having issues with housing stability for her and her child. And so there's a lot of other things beyond the just the pure mechanics of actually budgeting. And so that's what we're going to go into at the budget bootcamp. We're going to talk about the emotional side of spending. We're going to talk about financial goal setting and how to actually set effective financial goals, because sometimes people are chasing too many goals at once. Sometimes people are chasing goals that don't really matter to them in life, but they're doing it because they feel like they've had to. But they haven't even created a vision for what they like their life, what they want their life to be. So they haven't. If you don't know what you want in life, how are you going to design a financial blueprint to be able to support that? And so I'm just talking about even from my own experience as a single mom.
I
I'm
was
a
gonna say I
financial
want to tell
advocate.
on you, but I'm like, I'm gonna let her do it.
Yeah, because you've heard my story, like where I had some major issues in terms of how I was actually spending my money as well because of the just emotional pieces of it. I'm trying to like adjust the
Yeah, I
camera,
was gonna
but
say I can see it now.
yeah. So because of the emotional piece of it, so they because I was dealing with a lot of single mom guilt. And so with the single mom guilt, one of the things that I was doing is I was going out and spending money at Saks to try and like buy my kids, you know, baby clothes. Like it made no sense to try and buy my kids baby clothes from Saks that they're just going to outgrow. And so one of the things was that was an emotional piece of how I was spending my money. I knew better. I knew that that was not the best thing to do. I taught personal finances. I was featured in Essence, Jet Magazine, Black Enterprise, so many different places. But yet, because of the emotional side of the finances, of the spending, I too fell into that same trap of trying to prove to myself that I was worthy as a single mom, to be able to prove that my kids were worthy because they were single children of single moms. And so we cannot underestimate that behavioral component to what it is that we do. I remember working in with this one lady. She could not figure out why her math wasn't working at the end of the month. And it turned out that she was going to Target like every single day. And I'm like, well, why are you going to Target every single day? And she said, well, I just drive past it. And so I just feel the need to actually stop because I'm driving past it. And I'm like, well, I'm like, is that the only route that you can take home? And she said no. And I'm like, well, drive another route. If like the visual cue of seeing Target triggers you to be able to pull over and get a giant shopping cart and just walk up and down the aisles, then what you can do is when you actually need to go to Target, don't get a shopping cart, get a handbag. Like, I don't think do they have hand baskets? I don't think I've seen one
They
there.
do. They have
Do
those
they?
bully baskets sometimes.
Okay, yeah. So do that
Mhm.
or take a different route, right? And only go when it's planned. And so there's different spending triggers that exist in our lives, be it emotional, be it family, be it time wise, be it you just having to see it. And so until you understand those things, as well as the genealogy, I call it the genealogy of spending, which means what you've seen growing up, until you can address it from a holistic perspective, you're always going to be chasing your tail because it is easy. I mean, maybe it's because I'm good at math, but I think it's easy to sit down and create a budget, right? It doesn't mean that it's a good budget. It does not mean that it works for your situation. It does not mean that it makes sense for you. It does not even mean that it's going to work, but it exists. And so there's other things that go into place to create something that exists. And what a lot of people also don't recognize is the link between having healthy financial habits and your ability to work on your purpose. You've heard both Tamika and myself talk about how we're entrepreneurs. We've talked about the investments, right, that we have to make in our businesses in order to help it grow, right? But the thing is, most people are their primary investors. And so how if you plan to start a business, then you need a budget because you're going to have to put in business startup costs and that. Otherwise, you're going to be in a situation where you're taking money from your household to reinvest it into your business, which can eventually destabilize your finances. So you have to be aware of what your goals are. You have to be aware of what your responsibilities are. You have to be aware of where you want to go. So that way you're managing your money in a way that supports your life. And so getting back to the pandemic, like I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, actually earlier today. And I was just like, the pandemic and inflation has really been a tipping point for a lot of people. It's been showing them that the life that they had is just not sustainable. It's not, it's not sustainable long term. I've seen so many women who had a chance to work from home. Yes, like working from home with kids, trying to do the homeschool is very challenging, right? At the same time,
Very.
it allows so many people to be able to spend more time with their children than they have ever had and really get to know their children, rebuild relationships with their children because in the school day, it's the teachers and their friends that spend most of the time with them. So who was it that's influenced your children? And so when people have had a chance to be able to taste what it's like to be able to spend that time with their children, some people wanted to run back to work, but a lot of people wanted to actually stay there and figure out how they can do more of that. When people had a chance to actually rest and not have to be on the road fighting traffic all day, every day, dealing with the nasty corporate politics, then so many people were like, wait a second, there's more to life. There's more to the dream or to this thing that I have been sold. And so maybe I do get to determine what it is that matters to me. Maybe I do get to determine how I want to live my life. Maybe that idea that's been in the back of my head, maybe it's time to be able to bring this into reality. But the thing is, how can you be in a creative space? How can you be in a true space to be able to do that when you have all of this financial stress in the back of your head? Because I can tell you from personal experience that when I was stressed, like money stress to me, I end up worrying about self-reliance. I'm looking around at what everybody else is doing. I'm looking around at the trends and I'm just like, I'm going to do that. And it doesn't work for me because I'm not being authentic. I'm not walking in my gifts. I'm looking at what other people are doing and I'm trying to mimic that because I'm looking at what works instead of being able to take a step back and say, what is it that I'm called to do? What is it that I'm purposed to do? What is it that feels good to me? Because I'm making decisions about my bank account. I'm making decisions. This is why
Oh, I lost her. I'm sorry. I lost you for a hot second. I was doing something, trying to add these things about being authentic as a banner, trying to add that in there.
Oh,
Okay.
it's so yeah. So it's just I really feel like now is a time for people to really begin to evaluate their situations and circumstances to see if it works, to see if it makes sense, or if now is the time to do something different. Because like you can't cut your way into financial freedom. Eventually you're going to have to earn more money. Like deprivation is not the way to live. And so when you start to build a budget based upon the things that feel good to you, that are authentic to you, that work for you.
That's
And
really intriguing to me. So, can I just ask, because I don't always necessarily feel like I'm being authentic to myself right now. Like, I'm a much more a free spirit. I'm much more like laid back, low key, but I present a certain way. And the reason why I present a certain way is I was raised in a household where my dad was considered high profile, local celebrity, sports management, or when I was younger, he was a baseball player. And then I have brothers that all played sports, and one was in the NFL, and they went to the Super Bowl. So I've always had to carry myself a certain way, and I hated it after a while. I just was like, can I just be pretty without the makeup? Can I just breathe and wear what I want to wear? Can I be sporty spice today and punk spice? I don't know if there's a punk spice, but whatever the LOL doll's doing, I want to do that. Girls just want to have fun. Cyndi Lauper. I had a song I wanted to play for y'all. Let's get some energy going. I put it in the description, so I'm hoping we'll be allowed to play it. I hope y'all can hear it. But I am totally now in love with this song. And we got 1 second, the commercial will be done. Because I'm sorry, I didn't figure out how to. I should have teed it up earlier. Can you hear it though, Aisha? Could you hear the commercial part when it was playing?
Mm-mm.
Oh man, I hope it works. We'll see. But I will disclose, technically, it's a stripper song. You know what? I think I'm really taxing my Wi-Fi right now because it's like spinning super slow. But I wanted to play for y'all Lotto, Sunshine. Her song, Sunshine on Me, Sunshine. I can't sing, y'all. I have to practice it. I don't know all the words very well to speak proper English and not Ebonics or codes. Got to code switch properly. But basically, she talks about how she feels used and pimped by other people, and that she's going to pray for her enemies because they just slept on her couch and used her and, in a sense, hurt her. And that's how it was growing up. Can you hear it now by chance? It keeps stopping. It's because I think I'm doing too much with my internet.
I can hear it a little bit.
Yeah, it's because my internet's not stable. I'm doing way too much. I got that phone, this laptop, and the kids probably have all their stuff up. So I'm just gonna quit on that and leave that alone. But look it up. Unfortunately, it is a stripper song, but we're grown. I'm in my 40s. I can like a stripper song, but not be a stripper. Um, and like I grew up around boys and brothers, and like the way we think about stuff is so different than others. I was like, I just like the song. Then I watched the
Right.
video, and I'm like, that's a lot.
Like you can like the song and not want to hit the pole. Like that's okay.
But some people want to hit the pole because it's a good workout for your core. There used
Right.
to be
It
this
is.
company called Flirty Girl Fitness here in Chicago to talk about women-owned businesses and supporting and success, and it failed. And it failed because those women who had lots of money mismanaged it somehow. But it's a great concept. So then when I go to my alderman's office, I see this some about it, some kind of inferno. I was like, I need to be there doing that workout. Let me see what they're talking about. And I'm thinking about it because I had this conversation with my DJ friend. Shout out to DJ Craig Elliott. I had to explain to him people in Chicago, because Chicago's this big little city. You lived in Chicago for a little while, right?
I just used to visit all the time.
Okay. So Chicago's this big little city, and people like to label you, right? And people call me crazy. I'm like, you can call me whatever the heck you want when you're not in my face. If you're in my face, I have some rules and specifications, but that's a personal preference of what you want to call me. But when you see me, I might say, call me Ms. Williams if you're nasty. I'm just saying, like, respect me and who I am and what I've been through. I'm part of the Me Too movement. My first husband put hands on me and it threw me off because I was like, this feels like out of body experience. So I'm over here thinking to myself, you know, women can create these businesses. We can get on this pole, but we can't manage the finances. We're not doing it right. We're too concerned about what? Why did that business go wrong? It shouldn't have went wrong. And
I
it
think some I think that sometimes what people don't understand is that how you manage your personal finances is generally how you're going to manage your business finances. And so if you don't understand, and then people are also intimidated by finances. And so I think that that's a problem as well, because there's a lot of people, there's about 4 different types of money mindsets. I'm not going to go into it. I go into it in the boot camp.
okay.
But there's one type of money mindset where essentially you put your head in the sand, kind of like an ostrich. You know how ostriches sleep with their like heads like in the ground? But
Mhm.
so that's how some people actually manage their money, because it's intimidating to them, whether it's how they grew up or whether they're afraid to open the bills or the mail because they're afraid of what is owed. Like I've worked with clients who made plenty of money,
Mhm.
but it was something about being face to face with the numbers was so intimidating that they never opened the bill. They never paid their bills because it scared them. And so there's a whole there, like when you talk about money mindset, like it's a lot. I actually worked with a client who had a profitable business and shut her business down because she did not trust herself with money. She was like making that extra money actually was very triggering to her, and it scared her because
Shout
she
out
did
to
not
Ty.
trust
Thank you for
herself.
watching. Sorry, just got to give people credit. Hey, Bruce. Oh, a fellow Duke alum. I'm sorry.
Hey,
Aisha, we got
Bruce.
to get them sharing for us, you know? Anyhow, go ahead.
Yeah, so she shut down her whole business because she didn't trust herself with money. And so you have that piece of it. And so then you have another piece of it where sometimes people don't even know what they don't know, because as a business owner, you're like the talent, you're the creative. And so if you don't have that money background, that
Mhm.
finance background, then it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to keep up with the things that you need to keep up, making sure you're reinvesting in what you need to reinvest in, making sure you're paying for what you need to be able to pay for, making sure that you understand how to price your products and services properly so you actually have money coming back in. And
Mhm.
so, and if people don't know that, then they might not even know that they can hire a CPA to be able to manage your books, and how important that is.
But do you
And
really
so if you
trust them to do that? Because okay, here's my problem. My taxes due. My taxes, my first business taxes, I kept getting distracted by family stuff. I am gonna own and accept that I let family stuff get in the way. But my current taxes, my my CPA accountant, I was like, I told you I had a pass-through business. I told you my LLC was set up this way, but I'm so busy trying to keep up with other things that I'm relying on my CPA to do it all for me. And like, whose fault is that?
You know, it sucks because as a business owner, it comes back on you. But the thing is, that's why it's important to, it sucks that you had to find out the hard way that that's not your CPA.
Right.
But
But she still
like,
is though, because she be giving me breaks and I'd be like, October? I was like, yes, I like you still. But I sure did ask Treely, my old neighbor, you up next. I'm dead serious. I was like, I can't have these notices from IRS keep coming. I'm like, the hell is this? You know?
right. You need to be able to find, who was it? I think it was Bill Cosby said you always sign your own checks
Mm-hmm.
because somebody was doing something crazy with his money. And then we just saw something about Steve Harvey. Steve
Oh yeah,
Harvey,
what happened too? I didn't hear
he
that.
was, huh?
I said I didn't hear about this. Tell me. Give me the dirt.
I think it was Steve Harvey. He was dropping some nuggets on how he got scammed by his CPA and tax preparer and then what he learned is that you never write checks to the tax preparer or the CPA. You always write your checks to the IRS because he thought he was paying his taxes all this time. And then it comes out that he was behind on his taxes because the IRS never got his money because the guy managing his money was taking his money. So
But
you
do
have to
those
be,
people get held accountable though? So when that
oh yeah,
happens,
that's fraud. Like that's fraud.
okay,
That's fraud. Like that's the
okay,
jailable offense. Like you can't do that.
okay.
And then also as a CPA, like you have a fiduciary duty to your clients. So like you
Hmm.
just can't do that.
Hmm.
Um, but you
Oh,
have
can
to
we
be able
talk
to vet
about
people.
before you go deeper into that? Can we talk about fiduciary responsibility just right quick? Only because I'm having an issue with my HOA. And the current board president, lived here about 15 years, and I feel he's abusing his power. To your point about it's not fraud in this case, but he's managing the community as his personal playground. And I'm over here going to the alderman's office like, I asked to be on the board. There's a vacancy. I was the first person to ask. I'm more senior than the person he recruited. I don't know what else to do, you know? So when it
You
comes to
might need to get them.
fiduciary responsibility, I was like, I'm about to get a trial attorney. I talked to my real estate lawyer who helped me with my purchase. And I was like, I'm at a loss because I don't like going to court, but I will have to come up with trial retainer money because I'm tired of dealing with this.
I think that might be your best option. Like, talk to a lawyer and figure out what you can do because really the fiduciary really just means you have to perform the services and manage whatever you're responsible with for the benefit of your client. And
Mm-hmm.
so he you would have to prove that he's not doing it for the good of the HOA. So
He's very conservative with funds because, like you, he has children in private school and gymnastics. But my point is, I have young children about the same age as his, and our metal is rusting and deteriorating. And I messed up some good heels and almost tripped and hurt myself off a rusted step.
yeah, he should be responsible to make sure that that stuff gets fixed. But
I had to
yeah,
ask them like over the past 2 years to get it fixed. Since before I moved in, I've been like, and you guys have a plan for that? And they're like, yes, we sure do. And then I get here, I'm like, what happened to phase 4, 3, whatever, 3, 4 year on? They're like, we might need more money.
yeah, you might need to see what you can do with the trial attorney.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Because
or
I was
look at your
really like,
dues.
the hell is
Look
going
at your
on?
terms. Yeah, I don't know. I don't
I don't
know.
know either. I'd be like, I went to Duke, but I can't figure this out.
But you bring up a good point in terms of money management, though, because if you were responsible for that, you would need to have it sounds like the HOA is responsible for it. But for the people who are watching, who are homeowners, you need to make sure you have some money saved up to be
Mhm.
able to come up with some of these unexpected expenses. And get this, if you have an HOA, you still need to have money saved up because of those, I forget what the name of those things are called. You know,
Unanticipated costs.
the special, what are they called? Special levies?
Assessments. No, I can tell
Yes.
you because I'm a condo owner. Special assessments. I get hit with one in the pandemic, less than a year after I moved in. And on top of that, the reserves. And just so y'all know, I did this intentionally. I was on a budget, a tight budget. So I knew, and I was like, if I need to get on the board, I will. But they kind of bamboozled me with this phases of projects. So the reserves must be healthy. If you're purchasing a condo, make sure your reserves are healthy. Make sure that the bylaws and the HOA is strong and the property management is strong. What happened to me during the pandemic, they switched from, I can't remember what version of property management we had, but they switched to bookkeeping only. So now we're self-managed. And I'm like, we are not well self-managed. There is a fiduciary problem, which I raised to them this morning. And that's why, again, I had to go to my alderman. I've called the city of Chicago about my porch because Chicago had porches collapsing on people. Okay, it's a real problem in the city of Chicago. And I don't want to be that person, but they're pushing me into a corner, I feel. And Aisha knows, she talks a lot about workplace bullying. I want y'all to understand she's very knowledgeable. I feel in some ways discriminated against, not bullied because I've been through too much for that, but I do feel discriminated against. So
Yeah, and document everything. Document everything. Like I used to I used to have a condo myself. I was fortunate because the HOA was very strong and the property manager was strong and the reserves were solid. So I never had to deal with a special assessment during all the years that I was there. But make sure if you own a property, whether it's a condo or whether it's a home, to have money set aside to be able to deal with those things. Because especially with a condo, like when you get a special assessment, you don't have much time to be able to come up with the money. And so, and even if you're a homeowner, like if you need a new roof, you need a new roof. Like if you don't get the roof fixed,
that's
like it can
another
destroy
issue
your
I
house.
have. The long-term problems, it creates more problems in the long run, which is what I have repeatedly said to my board, and they don't respect me. But that's a personal issue. We're gonna get back to, I need Aisha to tell me what I need to post up about her boot camp. I need to put up a website. I don't know if you want to text it to me or how we can get it up here because I'm gonna put it up as a banner. But it is on May 28th, you said? Saturday,
May 28th. I was trying to see if I can I'm gonna send the link. I'm gonna post the link right now.
Okay.
Um
Financial boot camp. Y'all, we learned together, okay? We went to school in the dirty, and we are learning together. She's on StreamYard on her phone, and I'm on a laptop. And my laptop is definitely going slow. I'm gonna have to work on this because I didn't hardwire in. I could have, but then I would have been sitting somewhere different, and I didn't want y'all to see all my mess. So,
yeah, let me know if you got if that link works. But I just typed it in the chat. Um, that's the link to it. It's Saturday. So I have one that is it's a different link, but this one is for Saturday, May the 28th. At 11 a.m. Eastern time, and I have that's the Saturday boot camp. But then I
you
also
put it
have
in the
one on.
private chat, so
I put it on the private chat on accident.
that's okay. I can try to copy and paste and put it in the. If you could put it in the regular comments, that
I tried, but for whatever reason, I couldn't type in the private comments. Yeah,
okay.
it only
Then
let
maybe that's
me.
on me. That's on me.
I don't know why that was weird.
We're both like weird.
So, but yeah, so May 19th is the one that's on Thursday, May 19th at 6 p.m. And the May 19th link, I'm going to write it in here at 6 p.m.
I put her link in the comments. And then I was trying to get
And so that's I just sent the second one, the first one that is on the Thursday. So then that way people can be able to choose which one works for them.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think that what else was I gonna say? Yeah, so don't underestimate the link between your finances and your ability to be able to, have the quality of life that you want to be able to do, to be able to chase your dreams. And Tamika brought up workplace bullying for me. And so I remember one day where I was dealing with workplace bullying and it was real bad. It was real bad. And I remember like I was at my cubicle. So this was at the time I was in corporate finance. I was a senior financial analyst. And so I was sitting in my cubicle, and then two of my coworkers walked up to me and started screaming at me. And it was just so incredibly disrespectful. And this was on top of like what I had dealt with like on a day-to-day basis at that job. But that was really the turning point for me. I remember like reaching for my purse, right? Reaching for my
Oh, darn it. Hold on.
okay.
Hold on, Aisha. I did it again. I pressed the wrong thing. I was trying to make it solo on you. Go ahead. Reaching for your purse.
Okay, so I was reaching for my purse, and then I was like getting up out my seat, but about this far up, and all of a sudden I heard this little voice that said, "If you walk out, how are you gonna pay your bills?" And so for me, I was like, I didn't think about it. I was just about to bounce. Like, they're not gonna talk to me like this. And I remember just making a decision in that moment to never have to make a decision to trade my self worth and self respect for a paycheck ever again. And at that point, what I decided to do was to get really focused on how I spent my money. I began to get really focused on how I spent my time, because time is finite. Like, people think that they have unlimited time, but you don't. No one knows how long we're going to be alive, right? It's just the truth. So we can live, maximize each day, because tomorrow's not promised. We pray for tomorrow, but it's not promised. And so we maximize each day. And so that's what I started to do. I started to maximize each day, look at how I spent my time, got very frugal with how I spent my time, cut back on a lot of things so that way I can pour my time into building my business. And I had to manage my money in a way where I had the ability to be able to reinvest in the things that I needed to be able to reinvest in my business, and also make sure that I was able to manage my money in a way that allowed me to maintain my household, but still allow me to have certain peace as well. Because at that point, I knew that where I was at was no longer sustainable for me. It was impacting my health. I was being disrespected on a day-to-day basis. And then I had two grown people come start screaming at me, and I'm grown. Like, that was just the final straw for me. And so I realized that I had to get laser focused on my time and my money if I was going to have the space and the capacity that I needed to be able to build my dream. And I think a
Okay.
lot of people don't understand that. Like, there's such a link between how you spend your time, how you spend your money, and your ability to have that type of excess capacity to be able to build your dream.
Agreed. It's critical to understand that. And we have 2 minutes to close. I don't know if she has cushion time. I definitely do. My kids are with their dads, their respective dads. But just in closing, I didn't do a ton of sponsorship tonight. I just didn't feel like it. And honestly, I do have prizes. So if you did not go to YouTube and you did not go to the Facebook business page, you will not be getting a prize from me. And what I posted this morning is that I went to Starbucks. And when I did the broadcast at the Bronzeville Podcast Studio, they said, y'all want cash money. I don't do cash money. I do gift cards. I did pick up 3 $5 gift cards, $5 holla. So I will select a winner for that. And
So, side note, do you remember when $5 used to get you a quarter tank of gas? You remember how long ago that was? You used to give your friend $5 to take you somewhere.
$5. I got 5 on it, you know? So Aisha gets to pick somebody, I get to pick somebody, and I'm keeping this for myself. I decided I deserve a gift. I'm gonna let Aisha pick a gift too. I got lots of goodies in this house. So I don't know what she needs, but I did pick a cold one. I have gifts for kids, but I want to thank Aisha for being a part of my podcast, for helping me learn this. I'm new to this, y'all. Can you tell? I hope not. I hope you can't
But
tell.
did you have fun?
I had a lot of fun. I love talking with Aisha. I love talking with my fellow Duke alum. I have friends that are asking me to come out in these scary streets of Chirac, because yes, I'm calling it Chirac, even though I didn't want to. These people be wild when it's hot. And I got attacked at a Mediterranean restaurant. I'd be scared to go out. And I don't even have the Citizen app. So be careful, be safe, because people are angry. Part of why I wanted Aisha on. People are angry about their finances. They're angry about the job situation. They're angry that they are grinding so hard. And they call this the great resignation, because people think it's going to be better as an entrepreneur and a business owner. It takes time to build. Aisha will touch on this in her boot camp, but she also talks about feeling like she left without a plan and too early, because I've heard her speak before, because I was at her summit, popping in and out. I was doing a lot, but I wanted to.
I left because of workplace bullying. My doctor told me I needed to leave. I would have stayed at my job a lot longer and to be able to build up my financial reserves more than I did, but I had to leave for
mental health
reasons.
isn't just as important. So kudos to your doctor. Y'all know I'm a mental health advocate. I had to be. I started off going privately, paying out of pocket. I was like, this is too expensive. I have insurance. I went ahead and went that road. I've been an admissions and marketing manager in the healthcare space. And I was hesitant because we were moving towards EMR, electronic medical record. However, you can't function if your mind isn't clear, if you don't feel loved and supported. And when Aisha was saying something to me about, oh, thank you, and I was like, girl, lady, woman, you are all these wonderful, beautiful things. I remember what it felt like when I'm in Walmart. Like, I don't know if I can afford this for my kid. And my girlfriend, who's a social worker, drove up and had gone to like the second chance place and brought me some things I needed. And I was like, I'm too smart. I'm too grown to be in this position. How did I get here? And I don't want any of you guys, so bear with me because I don't like to mess up makeup. I don't want any of y'all to feel that way. And Shalina talks about it too. We can go to Wick and eat all the lobster we want, but I didn't want to be on it forever.
Right.
I didn't want to be on it forever. I needed an exit strategy. So please, Thursday, the 17th, or 19th, my brother's birthday. No, my grandma's birthday, Momo's birthday is the 19th. That's why I told Aisha, I was like, I don't think I can do that. And then Saturday, May 28th, the financial boot camp. Please, if you can't do it or you don't want to do it, but you know somebody who can benefit from it, please share. This is about sharing. Love Inspired Teaching is not about, ooh, I know this and woody woody woo, whatever. I believe the world needs love. We want to inspire people. We do not mind teaching people what we know, all in the hopes that we evolve to a better place. That is why I created this company. That is my passion. I didn't promo like I did the other ones. I want y'all to understand, we as people have power, whether you're Black, whether you non-binary, whether you want to be purple, whether you have purple hair. I don't care what it is you are about and what you do. You could pierce everything under the sun. I don't care. I don't. I used to have a tongue ring. I want you to be happy. I want you to evolve. I want you to understand the world is not as terrible as it is when you're in that dark place and you get a call from a friend who wants to hurt themselves. I've had that experience. I don't want that. So please understand that taking care of your finances is loving on yourself, and we want to love on you. And please, you know, I may even help her out and be like, let me put 50 on whatever the cost is. I don't know, and get y'all a discount code. I got to look at my finances though. To her point, I have been struggling to keep up with my finances, and I had to stop because I'm on deadlines for my severance stuff. I have to pay for my life insurance. I'm going to be, I don't know, in the healthcare marketplace if I don't find a new corporate job soon. And I'm okay with that. But I have to stop and reevaluate before I keep giving. But I also have a backup plan, and they don't want me to use it. I'd be like, but you got lots of money. But you're not supposed to use their money. That's their money. So you'd be like, okay. You know what I mean? So y'all have a wonderful evening. Thank you again, Aisha.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we can do it again. We just gotta coordinate schedules, whatever works for you, whatever you're pubbing. I don't mind because I'll be tired. I'll be like, whoever else wants to talk. That's the mic. Mic drop. We done.
You know, when I was doing my, I used to do, at one point I was on weekly lives in my Facebook community. And I remember like, I went to like monthly, I was on a monthly, but I'm like, I should do this weekly. But I'm like, if I'm going to do this weekly, I got to have guests. Like, I can't
You're tired of hearing your own voice. Like, like, let's be grown. Bia, your voice is tiresome. I need a change in scenery, sound, some. We're going to play some background music. And people who came to my birthday party, they were cracking up at me trying so hard to sing Big Energy, Mariah Carey a lot. I was like, I gotta change the words. I'm not from wherever she said. I'm from Chi-Town. I was like, What's the other thing she said? I was like, all I know is Emancipation of Mimi was when I was in college. I was like,
Oh, I
free
loved
me.
Emancipation of Mimi. That's like my favorite.
Yes, yes.
That's my favorite Mariah Carey album.
We will share all our favorite things with you when we talk, because that's what I like to do, talk about my favorite.
Oh, and Butterflies. Oh,
Yes.
I love Butterfly.
So thank y'all for letting us do this. Thank you for trusting us to share our knowledge with you, and just spread some love, light, and be effing phenomenal. All right?
Absolutely.
Mwah. Y'all have a great evening. I'm gonna end our broadcast. And behind the scenes, I'm cutting y'all off too. Okay?